Good afternoon. So, what I'm doing in this video is uh, I will play this video, which has, which is a recording of my uh, second class for uh, PBIS, which I took on September 14. And the purpose of this recording, this activity, is to reflect on what I did. So let me play. I'll play, and wherever I feel like saying something, I'll pause and I'll reflect. So, good morning, everyone. Let's first begin with the attendance and then we'll talk about other things. Let me fast forward. Present. Aishwarya, Sneha, Mona Lisa, Mira. Let says when I come in class, I lock the door. Once I sometimes I feel that taking attendance is a waste of time. I feel so because many times many students are not regular in class, but I feel like the administration takes no actions for it. Even if it does, I do not see any effect in students' behavior regarding their punctuality. And as you can see in this class, many students come late in the class. I have taken attendance and many of them are getting in. And then I have to redo the attendance and I have to waste some more minutes to mark their presence. This is a problem. I won't let you in. Roll number. 27. 27. What's your name? Huh? Spell it. P-R-I. K-R-I-S. Okay. K-R-I. Krish. Okay, let's start without any delay and introductions. In the last class, I spent 10 minutes talking about myself. So today, we are starting the textbook with the textbook. Uh, this is the book we have for English. And this book focuses on three things: reading, writing, critical thinking. So in reading, you have 40 texts to read. There are uh, 5 chapters, 8 essays in 5 chapters, 40 essays or stories, poems. Among these 8, 3 are for reading, 5 additional reading. The core reading, the core reading will be done by the teacher. The additional reading will be done by the students. So 5 into 3, 15 essays will be done by teacher, and 5 into 5, no, 5 chapters, 5 into 5, 25 text, shorter text will be done by students. Okay. Now as you read, we will do two things in reading. You can scan for particular information, or you can
skim for general idea. Most of the readings are argumentative essays, right? An argumentative essay might do two things. Take a position on a debated issue, or take a problem, explore causes of the problem and offer solutions. For example, here position. Age of consent for sex should be 18, as it is in Nepal today. I am taking recent controversy over the cricketers and the girls case to make my point here. Age of consent should be 18. Another position, age of consent should be 16. Two positions. Now, this position will say because and reasons. Here also, because and reasons. So you have a claim, and you have a reason to support the claim. So arguments can be two types: position arguments and problem solution arguments. Now, second example, problem. Rape is a problem. Now, causes of the rape, explore the causes, and finally you offer solution. Right? So most of the writings you will see of this type in this course. So as we read, we'll look for arguments and we'll analyze arguments. Now, as you analyze arguments, particularly arguments in an argumentative essay, you have a topic. For example, intercultural communication. You have a theme, for example, cultural values and assumptions. You have a title, but then there is a thesis statement. A thesis statement is the central idea in an essay, right? For example, this first essay might be saying, it's always good if you learn about American values and assumptions if you are planning to come to America so that you do not face intercultural communication problems. A simple idea of the essay. It is not given directly anywhere, but we can say that this is the idea. Okay. Now, you have this instrument, it may be given somewhere directly or not given. Then, you have discussion paragraphs. Or in this case, you have sections. For example, in this essay, the essay we are dealing today, for example, you have 9 sections, like individualism, competition, privacy, equality, informality, time, no, the future, change, and progress. Then you have time. Then you have it right over here. Achievement, action, work, and materialism. And finally, last you have directness and perseverance. Let's number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 sections in this essay, for example. Now, if you go to section 1, individualism. Now, there are 18 paragraphs. The writer discusses this in 18 paragraphs, right? And now, listen very carefully, because today I'm telling you the fundamental things in an essay, and you will follow in future this structure. You will read everything on your own. I won't be helping you. Now, under this section, there are 18 paragraphs, right? Now, what do you look for? Now, you look for main idea of the section. Let me show you, for example. Let me take the reading and show you. Okay. So, first the writer begins by talking about this. Look this line. If I have highlighted a text in yellow, understand that that is the main idea. And understand that when you read, always look for 2 things. Wherever you read, whatever you read, whenever you read, every reading has 2 things. Just as every person has 2 feet, right? I'm balanced. But if I'm on my one, I'll be wobbling. If on one, I'm wobbling, right? So, when I stand on 2 feet, every writing stands on 2 pillars. What are they? The idea and the details. In this class, the idea that we are discussing today is intercultural communication. In this class today, in this English class, the idea is intercultural communication. And these are the details. These are the details. Okay? Now, people who grow up in a particular culture share certain values and assumptions. This is the main idea of that paragraph. That paragraph only. Now, what I have not highlighted, these are the details. According to a writer, the ratio between idea and detail is 1 to 3. One idea, 3 details. If you have one idea, you should bring minimum 3 details. This according to one author, not always hard and fast rule. Let's read. That does not mean they all share exactly. Now, there's a trick in reading. You should learn this technique. For example, this pronoun is called as pronoun reference. We call this as pronoun reference. And there is a technique in writing that is called coherence. Coherence. Coherence means everything is tied together. Everything is connected, tied together. For example, this pronoun that is known as pronoun reference, and it makes a backward reference. It makes a backward reference. For example, to understand what that means, you must go back to this sentence, right? Do you get my point? So that means people who grow up in a particular culture share certain values and assumptions. Sentence 1. Now sentence 2 says that pronoun. Now this pronoun carries the idea of this sentence, right? Are you getting the point? So this word takes you back to this sentence. By taking you back to the sentence, it connects the first and second sentence. And such a connection in writing is a very good quality. It creates coherence and unity in writing. And you should learn such ideas to connect sentences. One idea is using a pronoun for a noun, as I showed you here. That does not mean they all share exactly the same values to exactly the same extent. It does mean, now look again, we have another pronoun. This pronoun also is known as pronoun reference. It also takes you back. So it means this sentence. It means sentence 1. And to understand what this pronoun refers, you must recall this sentence, right? It does mean that most of the time agree with each other's ideas about what is right and wrong, desirable and undesirable, and so on. They also agree. Now look, here is another pronoun. Now you must know what is referring to. They also agree mostly with the assumptions about human nature, social relationships, and so on. Now, can you see what this means? Can somebody tell what this pronoun is referring to? Right? Look, it's down here in the last sentence, but it is referring to the first sentence. So, do you see, the writer has created unity and coherence among these 4 sentences paragraph. How? By using the technique of pronoun reference. What did I say? Pronoun reference. First he uses people, then he uses that, then he uses it, then he uses they. Now your job is, as you read, you will not copy. As you read this paragraph, for example, copy this sentence, read this sentence, these sentences. You can forget these sentences, you must not forget this sentence. Because your job, while reading, is looking for an idea, but also understand detail. But Keep main ideas in memory for exam and for life. You may ignore details. Understand, read, but main ideas are more important than details. And every paragraph, not every, most of these paragraphs have two things. They have a main idea and they have details. The purpose of reading is to understand the main idea. If you do not understand details, don't bother. Don't bother. But if you can't get the main idea, be worried. Be worried and take help. Right? Okay. Now details are of, what is the formula for detail? There's a formula. S A F E R SAFE. If you have statistics that says 75 children out of 100 die before the age of 10. This is statistics. This is not main idea. This is a detail. Then anecdote. A personal story. Once upon a time, I was in Bhatani superstore. I was in a queue to buy a cold drink. In front of me, there was a lady with a child. Now I'm telling a story once more time. This story can't be a main idea. Stories don't present an idea. They give a detail. Then facts. The earth revolves around the sun and it takes, I don't know, n days to go around the sun one time. A fact. A fact, right? A fact is a statement that is not debated and people accept it as truth. Facts don't make main idea. Okay. Then, example. This class of English in BBIS at LA on September 13, 2020, Wednesday, is teacher-centered class. For example, for the last 20 minutes, this English teacher is continuously speaking and speaking and speaking. He is not letting children to say anything. Example. And what is it? For example. For instance.
Let me reflect at this point. It is too much to bear. As I said myself here that this class is teacher-centered, I see that I was heavily teacher-centered. It is almost 23 minutes from the time the class started, and it is the teacher who has been constantly presenting ideas. Now, I feel that, yes, as I'm saying here, this class is teacher-centered. And though I provided a lot of information, I began by telling what their textbook is about, the reading, writing, critical thinking. I also talked about number of texts, co-readings, additional readings, who will do what. And then I went to first chapter. I talked about topic and theme and title and the thesis statement. And then I talked about the ideas and details. Uh, as I reflect now, I see that it's not good to be so heavily teacher centered. Out of a 60-minute class, I have already consumed almost 40% of the class myself. And one question that comes to my mind is how effective is this kind of teaching where the students are passive and the teacher is active? I imagine how I would feel if I was in that class as a learner. No doubt I will feel boredom because I have to listen to my teacher for such a long time and the teacher doesn't let me say anything. So the first reflection is that I could have or I should have invited my students to read the text and answer some questions or make presentations. Can you see in this class the teacher is making all the effort. The teacher is shouting, the teacher is speaking, and the students are just passively listening. This is not a good class. Let's move ahead.
Right? An example can't be an idea. Then reason. A class should not be heavily teacher centered, because if the teacher goes on and goes on and goes and is speaking, children will fall asleep, they'll feel boredom. I said because, reason. Reasons can't be an idea, they give detail. So if
But again, I feel like I'm giving them a demonstration about how to read. But yet, I feel that being teacher centered like this is not effective. What do you think?
if you see a data, that's a detail, forget it. If you find a fact, ignore. If you find anecdote, story, can ignore. If you find example, can ignore. A reason, can ignore. Now what is idea? I don't know. An idea is a condensed statement which can be elaborated in a longer way. Honesty is the best policy. Now this is an idea. You can go and talk and talk and talk. No, Divakar sir, honesty is not the best policy. Today, if you're honest, you're always cheated in life, you're defeated. So today, you should not be honest, you should be practical. Everybody's lying, you too should lie and go on. So what is my idea? A statement that is so loaded, so heavy, so thick, so dense, that says so important thing that you can elaborate, explain, describe it in a page or 2 pages. Right? That's my idea. Okay. So in a paragraph, you look for two things: the main idea and details. And I gave you the idea. What is detail? You can ignore details, but you must understand the main idea and make a note. And make a note. Now, where was I? Yes, here. Let me first erase it. Let me take you the second paragraph and show you how that goes on. Notice that the values and assumptions discussed below overall. Notice that the sentence starts with a verb, right? Understand that. Keep in mind that somebody is saying, right? To whom? To whom? To the reader, to the audience. As a reader, you should always have audience awareness. You should clearly understand whom the author is speaking to. Now here a question comes, whom is Gary Alton speaking, the author? This extract is not an essay, it is a chapter in a longer book which Alton wrote for those people who come to America from other countries as a counseling book. And this is a chapter. It's a longer book which deals with American values and assumptions about foreign. It's a guidebook for foreign students who come to America. And this is one chapter. So notice that means to all those students who come to America for study. That's the audience, right? Notice that the values and assumptions discussed below overlap with and support each other. Two values may have same meaning, that's point. Two values may look similar. In general, they means what?
People.
No. They means values and assumptions. Look, you fail. You don't practice. Look, here is a noun, values and assumptions, and is a pronoun. One idea to create coherence, connection, link among sentences is, if you are using a noun in previous sentence, use a pronoun in the next sentence. So the pronoun will make sense only if you can follow the noun. Here the pronoun they makes sense only if you can know that this is connected to values and assumptions. This is called backward reference. We call this as backward efforts. They agree with each other. They fit together. A culture can be viewed. Now look here. The writer offers the definition of a culture. Because in this case, say, the writer is talking about cultural balance assumptions. So he defines culture. A culture can be viewed as a collection of values and assumptions that go together to shape the way a group of people perceives and relates to the world around them. Okay, let's spend a bit time. Define Nepali culture. Can we kiss somebody in public?
No.
So that's not our cultural value, right? Right? Okay. Can we eat left food? Left food. Do we eat left food? We have a Nepali word for that. What is that? What do you call the food that you eat and remains on the plate?
Chodua.
You were eating food and you left some food in the plate. What do you call that food?
Chodua.
Juto, you said? That's a Nepali word? What does it mean? What does it mean? Left, right? If you see, in the Western cultures, they do not have this idea of juto. They 5 friends in a canteen, they will eat from the same plate. Here in Nepal, if you go to canteen with 5 people, you may have some hesitation to eat from the same plate, right? So our value is we do not share the food from the plate. Normally we don't share, right? Okay. Should we tell lies? Should we tell lie to our parents? Should we? Now you are 50-50, right? Everyone is. Yes, sir. If it is about some privacy, we can tell a lie, right?
Yes.
Okay. A crazy question. Should we have sex before marriage?
Maybe.
Yeah. Tell it. For me, no.
Was this an appropriate question to ask at this moment? But I don't know. This is what came to my mind. And I'll say it's okay because the students are 19, 18, and they are at their age when they are prepared for this. And this may be a relevant thing to them. So, as I had this issue in my mind, the cricketer who was arrested, being accused of having sex with a minor. And maybe that was the reason this issue was in my mind and it struck.
No. But yeah. In the other class, 100% said yes, it's okay. I was alone there saying no, right? Raise your hand if you think sex before marriage is okay. Look, we have 50-50, right? Okay, fine. So, culture is our belief system. Our belief system. Culture is what we perceive as right and what we perceive as wrong. What we perceive as right, when my son-in-law comes at my home, when he takes off his shoes, I hold both of his feet carefully and I bow down and I put my forehead on my son-in-law's feet. That's my culture. Every time I meet my son-in-law, my daughter's husband, so I put my feet on his forehead. Because in my culture, son-in-law is like a god. We respect Nepali culture. But do you think Americans will bow down like that to their son-in-law?
No.
No. Where is higher divorce rate, in Nepal or America?
America.
America. Here it is increasing day by day, right? Because our values are changing, right? If you see the college magazine here in the office, I see the cover. When I saw the college magazine for the first time, I was shocked and uneasy. Because the cover page has it like it says sex toys. And then college magazine talks about sex toys. Oh, how bad. Oh, let me close my ears and close my eyes and mouth. Because, I thought, do you think we should openly talk about sex toys or not?
Yes.
Yes, look, our values are changing. If this was a class 20 years before, could we talk like this?
No.
No. So our cultural assumptions, values, beliefs are
changing.
so what is culture? A belief that is group of belief that is held by people. Right? So we have Chinese culture, Indian culture, Nepali culture, baby shower these days. We have the baby bump. We have the baby bump. Proudly, you proudly show the baby bump on the camera on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
That's a new culture. That's a new culture. So the writer defines culture, right? And
Though I was trying to explain them the concept of culture, I feel that the examples I brought may be exciting, interesting, but I feel like I was saying something irrelevant. I could have assigned them to read the text rather than lecturing like this.
then Then he begins the first section. And I was saying to you earlier that when you come to a section, look for the main idea. Look for the main idea. Now let's check. Now, a paragraph can be like a sandwich. What are the three parts of sandwich? Take a sandwich. On top you have what?
Bun.
The cake. Below you have, at the bottom you have the bun. What do you call bun?
Yeah.
Bun. You have the bun on top, right?
Yeah.
The bun. Below also bun. In between bun. Then the Nepali bun, right?
Yeah.
On top English bun. BUNN, I guess. Bottom English bun. In middle the green bun. Vegetables, right?
Yeah.
Now a paragraph can be details, main idea. This is a very difficult paragraph. This structure is difficult. Normally, in my experience, most of the time, you can blindly find a paragraph. Don't open your eyes, just go, meet the paragraph, and the first sentence you get there, this is the main idea. This is the main idea, the first sentence. In many cases, the first sentence is the main idea. But sometimes that's not the case. You read first sentence, no idea. You read the second sentence, no idea. You read the third sentence, oh, no idea. Oh, that's not the main idea. You read the next sentence, and you read the next sentence. You are reading, and you are not getting the main idea. And you read the last sentence, and then leave their chair and run away. I don't know where
Actually, I went to the back of the class pretending I'm blindfolded and I was touching them with my eyes closed, just a kind of acting to make them feel how we locate the main idea in a paragraph at the beginning or in the middle or at the end of the paragraph. And they were excited.
you got the main idea at last. So sometimes the last sentence is the main idea, right? Sometimes the last main idea, sometimes the first is main idea. Sometimes the middle is main idea. Right? So now if the main idea is in the first, it's easy paragraph. The last easy paragraph. Middle difficult paragraph. Now there's one idea to get the main idea.
I feel that rather than orally telling them where the main idea is located, I could have selected examples of the paragraphs from the given essay. I could have made them read a given paragraph and I could have invited students to look at the main idea. If I could have selected three paragraphs, one with the main idea in the beginning, one with the main idea at the end, one with the main idea in the middle, and invited students, made them read the paragraphs, that could have been more effective rather than telling like this.
idea to know the main idea. You will see that a paragraph, what do you see? Sometimes have you seen? Sentence. Then it says, therefore, and sentence. Have you seen?
Yes.
This therefore is the main idea. Hence, main idea. So, main idea. To sum up, main idea. To conclude, main idea. There are markers, words that hint you that main idea is coming. So here, let's say the most important thing to understand about Americans is probably their devotion to individualism. That is the main idea. That is it. Luckily, Gary Elton wrote this book for students. So the language, the style is simple because the audience is students, right? So it's very simple. Okay, now you have the main idea, and this is detailed. And okay, I won't read it. Now, the bad thing with Divakar sir is he won't be teaching you a lot of things. You will have to do on your
Own.
you will have to do on your
Now, as a teacher at this point, I see that I'm aware that I won't be teaching them like this every day, and they will have to do on their own. Though I'm being teacher centered in this class, but I'm aware that I should be learner centered.
one day I will take you to the riverside and give you the fishing rod. One day I will fish with you. From other day you will take your fishing rod and you will alone walk to the riverside and you will fish for yourself. I'm not going to give you fish. I'm going to give you fishing techniques. Do you want fish or
I said I would be giving them fishing technique, not fish, but today I was giving them fish, not fishing technique. So I'm not doing what I was saying, and this is a sorry thing.
fishing techniques?
Techniques.
If I
That's interesting. Students say that they prefer learning techniques, not the content. They want the technique of reading.
give you fish, you will
Let me go back and point the time when they say this thing.
have fishing techniques.
Techniques.
36 minutes, 43 seconds. I asked them, do they want fish or fishing technique? And they say they want technique, not the fish.
If I give you fish, you will eat for a day. If I give you fishing technique, you will eat for your life. Right? So always learn techniques in a class, not rote learning. Okay? So today we are discussing techniques, right? So we have the section, we have section heading, individualism. We have the idea what? In American culture, individualism is the most important cultural value. And you will see that the writer, let's count the paragraphs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 paragraphs. Oh God. This first section has how many paragraphs?
18 paragraphs.
Longest number of paragraphs. And see, because this is the most important value, the writer spends most of the time discussing this value. Now, if you see, let's come back to the same section. I'll explain one I want to do this. Our topic of the section, main idea of the section. Now, rest you will see examples come. There is an idea, and now there are details. Now there are details. Let's quickly check what kind of details are here. Look, you can see in the way Americans treat their children. One day I was at a local shopping mall. What is happening here? The writer starts telling a story. So we have an anecdote. Let's write here. S-A-F-E-R. We have an
Anecdote.
anecdote. A is gone. Now move ahead. We have the story. There's a dialogue. No, I won't read it. You read at home. Now, but when Americans hear the story, they usually understand pretty well. Move ahead. Now here, yes. Second example. In the United States, now you have another example where it brings a text from a book. There is a book by Benjamin. What is his name? There's a book by Benjamin something. Yes, Doctor Spock's Baby and Child Care. The author is putting a line in their states. Where is this? Very few children are raised to believe that their personal destiny is to serve their family. So he is bringing a text from page 7 of this book that was published in 1998. Then it goes on. Americans are trained to conceive of themselves as separate individuals and they assume everyone else in the world is to. Now, another important thing to tell you. Please keep in mind. Let me explain you. Here I'll explain. You have the main idea, right?
I should
This main idea
I should have used a duster, not cleaned with my hands.
is again branched. Main idea. Main idea. Main idea. Now this is main idea for the section. Main idea for the section, 18 sections. Now this can be main idea of the paragraph. Main idea of the paragraph. So you will see that a larger idea is broken into smaller ideas and further details are offered to explain that, right? This is how it goes. Now let me teach the whole thing quickly. I won't explain this section, you read at home. Now let me show you.
Now, I said I won't explain these sections you read at home. Ideally, I ask them to read at home, but my finding is that they rarely read at home.
How this essay is organized. Quickly I'll show you. Is your clock working?
Yes.
Yes.
One thing positive I see as it is that I made good use of the whiteboard. I wrote so many things on the whiteboard, but I wonder if my students noted down all those details.
Okay, when you read this lesson at home, one way of reading may be like this. You write in the middle, this is your page, note copy, this is note copy. And write give a circle and right here concept define value define in a sentence and then draw an arrow and write individualism, give an arrow and write main idea, draw an arrow. Now move to second workbook. Yes. Okay, right. Competition, then write main idea. You'll do in a while. Wait, we'll do it. Then move to next section. Draw an arrow and write primacy and write main idea. Then equality and write main idea. Then informality and write one idea. And then future, change, progress and write an idea. And then write time and then write an idea. and then achievement, action, work,
এখানে
materialism, and then draw this arrow and write main idea this side. Then turn the page, and finally you write directness and assertiveness and write main idea. I won't write main idea here, let me show over there how it goes. Okay, there are 9 sections and we'll see 9 main ideas. Okay. Section 1, it will be the main idea. The most important thing to understand about Americans is their devotion to individualism. And now details are there. Now section 2. Let me read section 2. Competition. Look main idea. Now this is, look this paragraph. This is the, what you call sandwich paragraph. Detail, main idea. Look here. The bun, the salad. Individualistic Americans naturally see themselves as being in competition with others. The detail, right? Sentence one detail. Competition pervades the society. Main idea, right? Then it is obvious in the attention given to athletic events and star athletes who are praised for being real companies. Again detail. So this sentence is an example of a sandwich paragraph. Where you have a detail, main idea. Now let me take you to the third paragraph. I won't address you yourself. I go to the third section, privacy. Now again the same. Also closely associated with the value they place on individualism is the importance Americans assign to privacy. Americans assume that people need some time to themselves or some time alone to think about things or recover their spent silent energy. This is the main idea. Detail, main idea. So this paragraph is also of this structure. Now move ahead. Third section. Equality. Americans are also distinctive in the degree to which they believe in the ideal as stated in their Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal. Now this is not this one. This is like this. Idea, detail, right? This is called pyramid paragraph. We call this pyramid paragraph, where this is the main idea, first sentence, and you go up details, right? Details. So this sentence and this is structure, pyramid structure, main idea and details. Okay, what main idea? All men are created equal. Now move to next paragraph. Informality. Their notions of equality lead Americans to be quite informal in their general behavior and in their relationship with other people. Again, main idea, same structure. Main idea, details. Now go down. The future change and progress. Americans are generally less concerned about history and traditions than are people from older societies. History does not matter. Many of them will say it's the future that counts. They look ahead. They have now again. You can decide whether this is this. Don't worry about the structure, but make sure you get an idea, right? Now next. So they believe. Let me show them explain for a while. It's a longer paragraph. So they believe about future, right? History does not matter. It is the future that counts. Let's read it. They have the idea that what happens in the future is within their control or at least subject to their influence. The mature, sensible person, they think, sets goals for the future, setting goal in life, and works systematically towards them. Americans believe that people as individuals are working cooperatively together can change most aspects of the physical world. Look, America has largest land. Americans believe that if you plan, you can do anything. You can change your future. You can change your life. Right? So they believe in future and they believe in change and they believe in work. Then next section, let's go to next section. Time. Look at the idea. For Americans, time is a resource that, like water or coal, can be used well or poorly, Americans count time by the clock. So they have planners on their
Excellent.
mobile, calendar planner, and they plan if they schedule, they plan every day, every hour, every minute. For Americans, a second is important, a minute is important, an hour is important, a day is important. They are not free. They are moving fast. Either move fast or somebody else will move ahead of you.
I'm speaking so fast, and as I reflect, I feel like I was speaking too fast. I was pouring down too much information for them to hold. And I wonder if learning was taking place in my class. Teaching was taking place, no doubt. I have been teaching for the last 49 minutes. I wrote so many things on the whiteboard. I look full of energy. I look enthusiastic. I look active. Teaching is taking place, no doubt. But how do I know if learning was taking place?
Americans want to do maximum work within the shortest time. So they're always working all the time. For Americans, time is money. Time is money. Next, achievement, action, work, and materialism. So Americans believe in achievement. You see, most Americans at a quite young age, they try to make world record, jumping from the highest point or going deepest underwater. They will try to make world records, right? They want to be heroes, whether it is wrestling or basketball or football, right? They believe in being a star, being a hero, doing something impossible, right? So they believe in achievement. What is your job? How much you earn? What's your car? How many cars? Do you have an aeroplane? Do you have a car? Or what is the status achievement? Then action. They are always working. They don't believe in words. They believe in doing work. For Americans, they believe no work is dirty work, no work is bad work. Every work is work. You must work, right? One day, please. Oh, a work sitting in the chair is good work. If you have to do it's a dirty work. You don't like that, right? Then materialism. Americans believe in holding cars, a big house, and beautiful wife, and rich husband, and kids, and everything, right? Okay. Then next paragraph. Directness and assertiveness. Let's read it. Americans, as we have said before, generally consider themselves to be frank. Look, they are frank, open, direct in their dealings with other people. Let's lay our cards on the table. Let's be transparent. Let's stop playing games and get to the point. These and many other common expressions convey the Americans' ideas that people should explicitly state what they think and what they want from other people now. So far, I did explain two things. Let me explain them now. In this chapter, Gary Elkin makes the argument that if you are planning to come to America as a student or on a business trip or as a tourist traveling, please understand that it's always good to learn about American cultural values and assumptions.
So here I told Alton's argument to my students. I could have made my students read the essay and asked them to uh, identify Alton's argument. So what I'm doing, I'm a kind of spoon feeding my students, and this is not effective at all. If they had read the essay and if they could tell the argument, then I could have met the purpose of my class.
So that Americans won't misunderstand you and you won't misunderstand them. And he discusses 9 important values from individualism to directness and assertiveness. Yeah, he does 2 things which I did discuss it at home. What does he do? How Americans perceive foreigners and their values, he tells, how Americans perceive foreign values. And he also tells how foreigners perceive American values and assumptions. And he also shows the differences, and he discusses problems that arise from these differences and solutions.
In spite of consuming almost 53 minutes, do you see there are a lot of things from the essay which I could not present in class. On the other hand, I said so many things which were probably not related to the essay.
So you can say this essay is, or this chapter has problem solution structure. This chapter has problem solution structure. Problem, intercultural miscommunication. Solution, learn these 9 values. Problem, intercultural miscommunication. People come to America from all over the world. They don't know American lifestyle. They don't know American beliefs and assumptions. And then they have a problem, right? Solution, read my book. Read this chapter. And understand, watch English movies, watch Hollywood movies, watch serials, and know what America is, right? Okay. Then let me show some examples of this new thing I told you, which I didn't explain earlier. Let me take you some paragraphs and show you. Okay. Yes, look here. People without the Americans' action orientation often see Americans as fringy. Look, second point, how foreigners look at Americans. Foreigners think that Americans are mad because they're always on the go. And a joke.
At this point, I feel like I was trying to complete the essay within the given period. I was worried about the time constraint and the amount of the text curriculum that I had to deliver. And my major aim was to uh, present most of the ideas to the students. So I feel like this is a sort of banking education here. What I'm doing, I'm trying to deposit knowledge in the minds of my students. As Paulo Ferrari, I guess, says that banking education is bad. And I do realize that uh, in a kind of teaching like this, where I'm giving ideas, I'm putting down information, expecting that my students are grasping them, is not effective. It's almost 55 minutes. I've been speaking constantly throughout the class. This is the second day of the class, and I made my students listen to me for 55 minutes. Though one can say that this is the second day, and as a teacher, I'm trying to establish myself in the class, and I'm presenting from my side. But out of 60 minutes, I should have given at least 20 minutes to students or 30 minutes to students.
One of my friends went to Canada for the first time, and then he didn't know spoken English. So once he went to a shop to buy sandwich, and he ordered the sandwich, and the shop is on the go. The shop is on the go. He didn't get what is meaning. The meaning was, will you eat this sitting here in the restaurant, or will you eat while walking? They are so busy, they will buy something and they will eat while walking. In our culture, do we prefer walking and eating, or do we sit and eat?
Sit and eat.
Right? For them, it's okay, you eat and walk. Right? So, foreigners think that Americans are frenzied, almost mad, never satisfied. Look, I give you one example how foreigners look at Americans. Now let me show you how Americans look at foreigners. One example I'll give you. Okay. Let me search. Yes. Second example. Americans are sometimes seen by foreign visitors as autonomous. Look, foreigners think that Americans are like machines. They are unhuman creatures. You don't know whether they are machines or men who are so tied to their clock, schedule, daily planner. They cannot participate or enjoy.
When I teach this essay next year, I should remember this thing that I should not be too much teacher centered, and I should make my students read. I should make them take notes. I should make them write down. I should make them think about what they're reading. I should make them speak and say something in the class. For example, I may make 9 groups in class and assign each section of the essay and give them some time to read that section, and then invite them to present the main ideas and details from each section. Then I can ask another group to find out the Americans' attitude about foreign values. I can assign yet another group to find out foreigners' attitude about American values. And then I can ask another group to uh, draw the conclusion of the chapter.
Enjoy the human interactions that are the truly important thing in life. They are like little machines running around. One foreign visitor said, how foreign people look at Americans. Now let me find one example about how Americans look at foreign people. Yes, here. Americans are generally impatient with people they see as passively accepting conditions that are less than desirable. For Nepalese people, we believe in fortune, right? We believe in what do you call luck. We believe in luck. We say if we are lucky, we'll get. If not, we won't get. Now, Americans do not believe in luck. They believe in action. They believe in act. They believe that if you plan on time, if you take right decision, and if you work hard, you can get anything. Look, Tesla, Elon Musk, so poor guy, struggling. I look today, from utter poverty, he is the richest person. Three things.
My comment that Tesla was poor, I realized that it is not based on correct information. I do not have information about Elon Musk's life situations, but somewhere I read that he had a very struggling life. He had uh, mixed parenting. This I know.
Plan ahead. What do you want to achieve in life? Second. First, plan. What do you want to get in life? And second, decisions. What decisions should I take to get this thing? Second. Third, working hard. I repeat, planning, making right decisions, or taking right decisions, and working very hard. If you follow these three things, planning, deciding, taking action, Americans say you can achieve anything. Elon Musk, Starlink project, Mars inhabitation project, and Musk says in coming 5 years, Tesla will be the world's cheapest car. He says. Elon Musk is working on a cheapest battery now. And he says he is planning a battery, and if the battery comes in market, the battery cars will be cheapest one. Planning.
Was this information relevant and related to the essay? No. I could have avoided this information and used this time to focus on what is given in the essay.
Decision making and working. And Elon Musk sold his house. Today he lives in a small room, a 2-3 room house, and he's working day and night. Right? Okay. Now we have 1 minute. We have come to the end of the class. Now the floor is open. I taught you very fast, right? On day one,
I realized that I spoke too fast.
we were on the highway, right? And we were 70 mile, 80 mile, 90 mile an hour, right? Some of you might be feeling dizzy in this vehicle, right? Thank God we didn't disturb the. You need the first one as for your. Yes, this one. Ashwin will present.
I made a mistake. Just a minute.
Now, right? Some of you might be feeling dizzy in this vehicle, right? Thank God we didn't disturb the driver.
I do realize at the end of the class that I was speaking too fast. I do realize that I was teacher centered. I do realize that they might be feeling dizzy listening to me all this time.
And if it said, please slow down, sir, right? Okay. It's a long essay. Tomorrow, you will present the next chapter, second essay. Where do we stand? And the presenter will be Prashuddhaman Amartya. Which, okay, Ashvi Avale. So Ashvi, tomorrow, let me show the essay. You are going to present this essay, let me show it here. Yes, this one. Ashwin will present the second reading, Where Do We Stand, which in your course is given on page number 19. And this second essay is about how people use space while having public conversation. Right? I cannot go and brush up against this girl. Not allowed in culture, right? We can't be so close, right? So how people use space and how much distance you have in a classroom? Look at distance here. In family, on dinner table, dining table, you don't maintain some distance, so very close, right? So how people use space in public conversation and what meanings it has and what cultural problems it might create. And Ashwi will present, and your job is you take a page of this size and make a diagram of this kind, outline of the essay, and in class you come with that page. And do not read from the page, you take this podium, stand here and look on a point, write the point and explain. Do a rehearsal at home. If you have a full life mirror at home, prepare the lesson, sit before the mirror, you see yourself in the mirror, that is a teacher and present to the mirror. I do that. I did that when I was like you. Present to the mirror tonight and do multiple rehearsals. Assume you are a teacher. And tomorrow in class, try to do as good as possible. I know you can. I know you can. Now we are jumping in the ocean, right? Every day, one new student will teach one new essay. Right? Thank you. Any questions? No questions? So we are tired, so it's too much when we're leaving it, right?
I said any questions at the end, but rather than saying any questions at the end, I could have asked a number of questions about the essay in the middle, and I could have made them speak. So to reflect at the end of viewing this video is I spoke for 60 minutes, and it was heavily teacher-centered class. There was too much teaching, and I doubt if there was any learning. What do I realize if I teach this class next year, this lesson, this essay? I should reduce teacher talk in the class. I should reduce teacher time in the class. I should make my students read the essay. I should make my students take notes while they read. I should make my students talk in pairs about what they read. I should make my students discuss paragraphs in groups, for example. I should make my students summarize them in ideas. I should make my students speak to one another. I should make my students come to the front of the class and present their understanding. I mean, I should make the learners active and I should make myself passive. This is, I hijacked their time. So I'll end this reflection by saying that this was a very poor class where there was too much teacher talk. Though I presented a lot of information on the whiteboard, sometimes I feel that if somebody watches this video with internal motivation, with the pen and copy and notes down what I said, they will get information. But I did not involve my students. The major drawback of this class is I did not involve my students. I did not make my students read. I read instead. I did not make my students note things. I noted down things instead. I did not make my students speak. I spoke all the time instead. I made my students listen. And one cannot listen for 60 minutes to anything. This was a poor class. Next year, I should flip it. Or in the coming class, I don't know what I did. I'm reflecting in the month of January. Today is uh, today is January 16, and I took this class on September 14. So September 14, October 14, November 14, December 14, January 14. I'm reflecting after 4 months. And I should realize that when I teach this essay next year, I must flip it. I mustn't consume more than 20% time, and I should give 40% time to learners. I should make them read. I should make them write. I should make them think. I should make them speak. I should involve them. I should make them participate in the class. Thank you for watching. And if you saw something positive in my class, you can give me a feedback. And I tried to reflect on what things went wrong, where things went wrong. If you could, if you spotted some other drawbacks too, please comment below in the comment section and let me know other drawbacks. When I teach this essay next year, I will try to minimize these drawbacks as far as possible. Thank you.
Okay.